In this class, the tagline, "The changes you resist are what gives you wings to fly." I really believe that this transformation you go through at the latter stage of life into the third stage of life is really one of the most powerful transformations of life. In this class, I will show you the second part of life, which is your elder stage or your third stage of life, is better than the first part, which is your mothering stage. We will also talk about the perimenopause body changes that you resist, things you're going through like hot flashes, your 3 a.m. wake ups, mood swings, and weight gain. Those are all things that are going to give you the wings to fly into the next stage of your life. And I will provide one simple, actionable thing you can do every day to support yourself to move through all these midlife challenges with grace, to be mindful through your midlife. Part one, the second part of your life, or this elder stage, is far better than the first part of your life, that mothering stage. And here I'll give you examples why. Actually, we go through 3 stages of womanhood. The first stage is the young maiden. As the young maiden, it's the waxing moon of your life. Things are growing, everything's new, you're carefree, you're full of potential. There's all kinds of, wow, the world is my oyster. It's right about like late teenage until mid to early 20s, 26, 27, 28 years old typically. Then the second stage is the matron stage. The matron stage is the full moon of your life. This is where you step into the role of mother. Whether you become a mother and birth children of your own or adopt children, or you mother other people. This stage of your life is the bulk middle of your life where you are caring, nurturing, loving, and taking care of the needs of other people as a mother would. The third stage is the wise elder, and that's where we go when we hit midlife. As our children are growing, teenage, young adult, as we're heading into the later stages of our careers and starting to look down the runway of retirement, as we're looking at empty nest, that waning moon, and you, that soul who have gathered all this wisdom, all this knowledge, all this insight over a whole lifetime of experience. You have that experience, and it's time now to step out of the mothering, to stop doing for and taking care of and enabling others to live their lives. And it's time for you to step into the empowerment of your turn, your life, your dreams, because you aren't needed to take care of people anymore. It's your turn to take care of yourself and do what you've always dreamed. This stage of life, the transition from mother, matron, to elder, wise sage, is a metamorphosis. And that happens over the 8 to 10 years of perimenopause into menopause for women. It's a forced slowing down of your world, and a forced, oh, I need to take care of myself. I've got to put me first instead of everyone else so that you can live a better balance. And the truth is, it's a transformation, like a metamorphosis, but changing from a caterpillar to a butterfly, it can't be comfortable and it can't be easy, but it is inevitable, and it's totally worth it. Midlife is this 8 to 10 year metamorphosis. It starts with aging body changes. Your body's telling you you can't keep going at this big pace, and you can't keep holding other people. And then you go into perimenopause and all those perimenopause symptoms. Other things that start happening is you might be empty nesting your home, you might be downsizing your home, you might be moving into a new home. Often what happens, not always, but in many cases, later life divorce, once the children are grown, you look at your spouse and you're like, we did a great job as parenting. We did a great job as developing and building this family. But as we look into the latter years of our lives, we don't have that in common anymore. We don't have the same values and roles. And later life divorce occasionally happens. And you're dealing with your own parents aging. And as your own parents are aging and dying and you're taking care of them through hospice and their own aging process, you're faced with your own mortality. And you now are stepping into that role of the matriarch in your family and in your world. And there may be career angst coming on. Hey, I'm tired of doing the same old thing. I don't want to do all the work, do. Either you're looking towards retirement, you're looking down that runway into retirement, or you're saying, I'm ready for a new shift, a new role that doesn't demand all this high energy. I want to be the wise sage and be the insightful one. That's why often at this stage of life, people transition into consultants rather than doing all the work. These are some of the many things that occur over this 8 to 10 year metamorphosis of midlife. And midlife is a portal. It is a process. And being mindful through this midlife menopause, you can reclaim your inner phenomenal woman. And you can say, hey, my time is now. And I'm recognizing, I'm remembering that my life before here was taking care of everybody else, but now is my time. And as that inner phenomenal woman, you own and you know your power because you've been cultivating it for your entire life. So let me give you a couple of examples of my clients who worked with me through their mindful midlife process. First, here's Diana. Diana was overexhausted from doing all the things for all the people at work, with her family, with her mother, with her boyfriend, with her friends. She was always doing for others, putting others before herself, and almost being taken for granted and advantage of because of that. And she couldn't keep up like she used to. Diana's midlife metamorphosis included breaking up with that boyfriend, stepping away from that, moving her home, going through a career shift, and all at the same time dealing with some major body changes and challenges like endometriosis and perimenopause symptoms. As she worked with me, she learned to develop healthy boundaries. And she learned to start to put herself first as she disentangled from the boyfriend, and those practices and those mindful beliefs she started to put towards taking care of herself first. She also developed a better relationship with her mother. As her mother's aging and she's taking care of her mother, she learned how to take care of herself and her mother at the same time. She now sees her body differently. She respects her body. She appreciates it. She feels better in her own skin. She likes how she feels. She says, I don't take other people's reactions personally anymore. I just do what I want to do, and makes herself feel better for herself. And she's able to let go of things and not be triggered by others as well. Another example is Chris. Chris came to me completely consumed by her work life. Her work had infiltrated every aspect of her life. As a result, it was impacting her romantic relationship with her husband, her family relationship with her parents and her family of origin. She wasn't sleeping well at all. She would wake up in the middle of the night terrified that she'd forgotten something or that she needed to do something. And she was also dealing with those 3 a.m. wake-ups that happen with menopause. And she was constantly thinking about work, never able to take time off, checking her email at 3 in the morning, doing little bits of work here and there on the weekends when she was supposed to be on vacation. She never really enjoyed her time off. In working with me, she said, I am sleeping much better, often sleeping through the night without any pop-up wake-up calls. I accept my body as it is now, even though it is changing. I'm feeling good about those changes. And I understand how my body looks and why. But most importantly, Chris started to enjoy herself and her time off. She put really firm boundaries around her work, which then also meant a major career change. She shifted out of one job into a new role where she got to be in consulting, eldering, wise sage role rather than busy doing role. And the last example I'd like to offer is Emily. Emily came to me as she had gone through so much challenge of doing and caring for others that had really taken a toll on her own health and her own life. So she had retired. She retired early. She was given that great opportunity because she got married and her husband said, I can take care of you. So that was a major life transition that happened at the beginning of her midlife where, wait, she could retire early. She had to then deal with the identity of changing her identity from I'm a worker who cares for others to I'm retired in a rather sudden way, as well as engage in relationship, partnership in ways she never had before. As a result, she went through imposter syndrome, negative self-talk, dealt with a lot of ancestral trauma and post-traumatic stress from all the stress of dealing with her high stress job. and this constant anxiety. She had to find ways to let go of all those things, to put them away into her past so that she could step into a beautiful, fulfilling, life affirming retirement. Through mindful midlife menopause practice, she found that she could trust herself more. She says, I am listening to the still small voice and I can reflect rationally, and I'm no longer hard on myself. And as a result, she really does enjoy her retirement. So aging is a secret power. When you reconnect to your spiritual source in every day in a way that is easy and fits into your life and always works for you through that 8 to 10 year midlife menopausal process, you become, and this is according to research found and produced by NBC News, so you can click this link here to see that research. What it proves is that women who find a spiritual source and go through midlife, the other side of midlife, they are happier. They know they're more experienced. They are calmer in conflict and challenge. They are less fazed by the ups and downs of life. They are far more optimistic, and they are full of potential and passion and purpose in ways they couldn't be when they were in the matron stage of life. So now we move into part 2. What are those perimenopausal changes that you're going through? And how can you reframe them in your mind to know that A, they're temporary, and B, as you get through them, they are the caterpillar changing into the butterfly of a better life. So perimenopause wisdom. If you listen to your body when it whispers, you will never have to hear it scream. So let's listen to the whispers of perimenopause. Your mental, emotional, spiritual challenges, they manifest in your body's tissues, and what your body's going through is going to reflect what you're dealing with on the mental, emotional, and spiritual. If you're mindful about those things, those transitions can be easier, smoother, and more positive. So what is perimenopause trying to tell you? Well, first of all, let's talk about the most common and probably the most frustrating, and that's hot flashes. Heat and fire, they represent passion, purpose, drive, and motivation in life. They come from that inner core passion of who you are. So your hot flashes are symbolic of your passion and purpose getting bigger in your life. It's rising to the surface. Your body is literally telling you, you've got to do what you want to do for you. It's your turn. It's your time. Let your passion rise. Let it burst out of you. Let the flame come out. So hot flashes come from the core of your being. And when you have these intense hot flashes, your body is telling you, pay more attention to that inner drive and desire, that passion and purpose in your life that hasn't yet been fulfilled. It's time now. It's time to fulfill that, because you've been so busy nurturing and passioning others. It's time to put that aside and take care of yourself and do what you want and find and live and drive for that passion and purpose. The next one is those irregular menstrual periods. Obviously, your ovaries are not spitting out eggs on a regular, consistent basis as they used to. Things are changing, and you have fewer eggs left, and they're pushing themselves out at random times. You never know when you're going to bleed, how long you're going to bleed, if it's going to be heavy, if it's going to be light. Your world is changing, and your menstrual periods are telling you this is changing. Menstruate in Latin means to discharge the month. The root of that word means to discharge the month. So really, menstruation is about you being a mother, taking in all the things that you hold for other people, holding it for a time, and then once a month, your body gets rid of it. So as a matron, as the mother stage of life, it's important that you have your menstrual cycle. That menstrual cycle is your ability to hold, nurture, love, support, encourage, and enable and take care of in your womb all the emotional and mental and spiritual energies of the people that you love and care for. And then you have those times to let go. So when you start losing, when you get out of that mothering and matron phase of life, and you're done with that gathering, absorbing of all the wounds of those that you're nurturing and processing it for them, Then, when your menses becomes irregular, it's your body's way of saying it's time to stop mothering. Stop doing for other people. They can go take care of themselves now. You need to take care of you. It's no longer time to do all things for all people, but to let them do for themselves. And you get to be the elder, the wise sage, where you advise, you guide, you give your wise wisdom, but you don't do for them because you don't have the capacity to hold that anymore. The third symptom we deal with in menopause is sleep problems. I myself have been waking up almost every night at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. for probably 5 or 6 months now. As we age, our internal time clock shifts. Do you remember being a teenager or dealing with your teenagers and how they're constant night owls and they stay up till 1 or 2 in the morning and then they're sleeping till noon? And that gradually shifted when they got into their 20s and 30s, definitely into the 30s. The same thing happens as elders. As elders, our time clock shifts into being more early bird, waking up at the early hours, which also means falling asleep at earlier hours. It's just the natural cycle of life. But the reason we switch to that early bird time is between 3 a.m. and 6 a.m., that quiet time. That's when it is easiest and more potent to listen to yourself and connect with spirit. We call it the witching hour, the time when everyone else is quiet, everything in the world is still, so that you can go in and really listen to your truth, your intuition, your sense of self, and connect with your understanding of spirit, ancestors, God, Jesus, the deeper wisdoms of life. Those 3 a.m. wake ups are your body's way of telling you to take time to listen to the still small voice inside yourself and to prioritize your spirituality. Because now, as you're in the elder stage, you are closer to spirit and closer to that veil and seeing through that veil. The next symptom we deal with is a slowed metabolism. As you age, your metabolism slows and you get weight gain. You get slower processing speeds, both in your brain and in your body, and everything sort of changes in your digestion too. That slower digestion, that slower metabolism is your body's way of telling you, slow down and do less. You aren't supposed to be the go, 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 do, take care of everything for everybody anymore. You're missing things by going too fast and being too hectic. This is where you recognize that less is more. And your body needs to slow down so that you can really drink in the marrow of all these subtle things that you missed when you were on faster pace. And finally, the last symptom I'm mentioning today is mood changes. As we deal with perimenopause, we often deal with anger and rage, irritation, anxiety. There can be some depression about letting go of our prior selves, our prior lives. There can be some low self-esteem, some low confidence. I personally, about 2-3 times a month, I'll come to my husband lately and I'll say, I just have a case of the sads. I have no idea what I'm sad about. I just feel sad. Those things happen. During this midlife transition, the increased moodiness during midlife is your body's emotional detox. Because as mothers, as matrons, there are a lot of times that we can't feel the feelings that we feel in the moment. We have to take them, stuff them in, hold them on, because we've got other stuff we got to be dealing with. So now, as you go through perimenopause symptoms and this process of transitioning from matron to wise elder, you've got to get rid of those feels. You've got to take out all that stuff from the hidden nooks and crannies in your system and get rid of them, detox them out to get you ready for this new stage. And getting rid of those feelings and emotions you built up and never expressed because you couldn't show them at the time they erupted. It's important to remember this too shall pass. And mostly these emotions that you're feeling, they're not really about you. They're just about the transition and the process. It's like shedding that old skin like a snake. It's like going into the cocoon and turning into the goo so that your caterpillar can grow these beautiful gossamer wings. You have to get rid of the old in order to be ready for the new. So now part 3. What is one actionable thing you can do every single day to support yourself to move through these midlife challenges with grace? Because I admit hot flashes and mood changes and body changes and 3 a.m. wake ups, all of those are really uncomfortable. But there are things you can do to make them more comfortable. You can't make them stop, you can't make them go away, but you can change your mind about them and you can ease yourself through them. Small changes, the tiniest little things you do every day, eventually add up to those huge results. So little things that you do often are much better than big things you do once in a while. So what I'm going to teach you is a very little thing that you can do several times a day to get you to remember, oh yeah, I'm just going through a transition. Oh yeah, this too shall pass. Oh yeah, I can breathe through this, and on the other side of this is the best time of my life. And the way that works is what I call the Mosey method. A little tiny exercise where you link a mindful intention, mind, to a body action, body, to a very spiritual breath, spirit. Because your thoughts create your feelings in your spirit, and your feelings in your spirit and on your breath create the behaviors that you want to fulfill. And those behaviors reinforce your thoughts. So we're going to link a mindful affirmation with a body action with a spirit breath, specifically designed to help you manage your midlife transition through your menopausal symptoms. So first, let's talk about the body action. Your behaviors will reinforce your thoughts. So the action I want you to do is just like dogs, shake it off. Every time a dog gets anxious, gets uptight, gets nervous, gets freaked out about something, and not just because they're covered with water, but because they're freaking out about something where they need to let go of something, they shake. They shake their whole body. So do it right now. Just shake. And when you shake, just like the dog shakes the water off its back, just like the duck shakes its water off its back, you are shaking off all that excess stuff, getting rid of all that stuff inside you. So shaking is a great way to expel that anger and rage that's been stuck inside you that you feel coming out. Shaking is a great way to push out the case of the sads when you don't even know where they're coming from. Shaking is a great way to shake off your frustrations about what's happening to your body. Oh, I don't like the way I feel right now. Shake that off. It also makes you get into your body and feel your body better. So just shake it all off. Then link that body action to a very specific mindful intention, because your thoughts create your feelings. And when you state an affirmation over and over and over again, and it's phrased in just the right way, you can create that actual feeling inside your system. We're not talking about changing the outside world. We can't change that. We can't even change lots of the things that are happening to your body, but we can change how you feel about them. And so if you say, while you're doing the shaking, I let this go, and you physically feel it and think about it washing off of you, or you say, I'm shaking this off, and you physically shake it off, or you say to yourself, I'm washing this away from myself. I've washed this out of my system. If you shake and wash your hands and think, I'm washing this off, I'm letting this go, I'm releasing my prior matron mothering ways, all of those things will evaporate away from you. And the last thing you want to do while you're doing the breathing, while you're doing the shaking, and while you're doing the thinking of letting things go, is you want to breathe. If you're not breathing, everything stops and the power doesn't work. Breath is energy. Breath is life. Breath is the magic. So if you do really slow, deep breaths that match your slow metabolism, and you think about expelling, letting go, and shaking off as you exhale, and think about all those anxieties, all that rage, all the frustrations about not knowing when you're going to get your next period, all the anger about waking up at 3 a.m., you let that go. And then as you breathe in, I absorb elderhood. I step into eldership. I accept this new, exciting, passionate, purposeful stage of my life. And so, what's next? I give you, in this online course, you can download a PDF where it describes this Mosey method exercise, how to get through menopause with that simple Mosey method exercise. Shake your body, think your thought, take your breath. Shake it, let it go, wash it off. Think about letting go of your mothering, your matroning, your holding, your nurturing, your taking care of everybody else as you breathe in the elder wisdom of it's your time in life. So you can find that in the online course, and you click here for that download. I also highly recommend you take my online course, Peace and Balance. This teaches you the specific breathing technique that I use with all my clients. Diana learned it, Chris learned it, and Emily learned it. And when they learned it, this was the biggest shift in their attitudes towards their process, in their beliefs towards themselves, and in being able to embrace their new sense of self and let go of all that anxiety and bring themselves to a better state of peace and calm. Usually this course is $29, but if you go in and you use the coupon code WELCOME23, you get 85% off and you're only paying $4.35. It's an extensive course with lots of detail that really is the most important thing I teach. And if you are going through all this stuff in menopause and you want me to hold your hand, to guide you through it step by step, you want to get the massive results that Chris and Diana and Emily experienced in their lives, where they stepped into really ingratiating themselves with their power and their purpose, and they let go of their mothering and they felt good in their bodies and their skins again, sign up for a one-on-one call with me. The first call is free. I do a personal assessment, and then we can talk about monthly one-on-one coaching or sacred mentorship to help you embrace your elder stage of life. I also want to ask you, what else do you want to learn? What other courses about midlife, what other courses about life, about mindfulness do you want to experience? This is only the first course in a whole monthly series. Other course topics I have in mind, I'd like to talk about sleep. Because yeah, we do have those 3 a.m. wake ups, and sometimes we can't just wake up and live our lives and go to bed early. Sometimes we need to find a way to sleep and get rest into our bodies. So how to sleep better without medication, or how to feel rested when you don't sleep well. There are ways, there are tricks. Another one I'm thinking about is food, how to eat better without tracking diet or nutrition. Another way to think of that is why you're not losing weight no matter what you do. Well, part of that is menopause, but how to really have a better relationship with food through your menopause. And how to appreciate and love your body, even though it's going through these massive changes. How to really love and adore all parts of your body, even if as it's shifting into something that you're not used to and you're not comfortable with. Those are 3 that I have in my head that I will be planning in future classes, but I want to know what else you're interested in. So put in the comments, put in the notes, send me a text, send me an email, tell me what else do you want to learn. And that is perimenopause and menopause, and how this next stage of your life is worth it. And yes, you have to get through the transition, the shedding of your old skin to get there, but it's totally worth it. Namaste.